I forgot how to hear silence. A Founder's Flight into Digital Reality, a self-analysis by Vlad Winner. My father was a walking encyclopedia. Growing up, it wasn't one book by his bed. It was dozens. Always, that was just his life, and by extension, mine. My friends used to call him Wikipedia before Wikipedia existed. They'd actually phone him with questions. Mr. Eugene, what's the population of Antwerp and what drives its GDP? Mr. Eugene, what's the atmospheric composition of Venus? At what altitude? He'd ask back. Here's the thing I've been thinking about lately. How does a habit of consuming mountains of information affect the mind of someone who is genuinely brilliant? How did my father, this encyclopedia of a man, slowly get swept into propaganda? How did I not notice that the encyclopedias on his shelves were quietly replaced by political commentary and the kind of content that rots critical thinking from the inside? His mind didn't break. It was dissolved, gradually, and something else moved in to fill the space. But that's a different story, an old one. The reason I'm telling it, I almost repeated it, just with different technology. I got hooked on YouTube. Seemed harmless at first, just background content while I worked, but it cut my output in half. And once I figured out what was happening, I got it back, possibly more than before. That's what this article is about. Here's how it starts. It begins with documentaries and professional podcasts, legitimate stuff. Then gradually you drift toward political opinions, toward talking heads with confident takes and questionable credentials. The thousands of books my father had became thousands of hours of content consumed. Always multitasking, always learning something useful in the background, because I had an explanation for it. The same kind of explanation a smoker has. It calms me down. It helps me focus. I enjoy it. I feel informed, like I actually know what's going on in the world. The wake-up call came from an old friend. We were driving between cities, long stretch of highway, nowhere to be. At some point he turned to me and asked, "Man, how do you have so much useless information in your head?" He wasn't being cruel, and I'm not even sure he was wrong. But I couldn't ignore the question, because since childhood I believed the opposite, that more information meant more intelligence, that a full mind was a sharp mind, and honestly some of it still holds. There's knowledge I consider foundational, the hard sciences, basic medicine, physical fitness, philosophy, political theory, mechanics, navigation, survival skills. But what about everything else? The stuff beyond your actual profession? How some guy named Greg set up his goat farm in the mountains and what method he uses to sanitize the wool? How spacecraft trajectories account for astrodynamics, quantum physics, and Newtonian physics connect and contradict each other? The differences between Judaism and other major religions? How Korolev engineered the first spacecraft? What 19th century researchers actually found when they blew open an Egyptian pyramid? Why Python beats Kotlin, or does it? Why the speed of light cannot be exceeded, and what happens if you try? Fascinating, sure. Useful, debatable. Depends on your goals. And I'll be honest, even writing this list just now, part of me thought, oh man, I'd actually listen to that. But let's keep going, because at some point the hobby becomes a habit, and the habit starts replacing actual thinking, hours of content that requires zero attention and zero judgment. First come the political blogs. A senator said something about something someone did somewhere. A respected guest has thoughts. The host is very concerned. Then the real gems. Check out my skateboard. I added rocket-powered wheels. Elon Musk will probably give me $1 billion. My mom told me to stay home, so I painted this. Do you like it? Seems harmless, right? Then politics moves in. And politics doesn't ask much of you intellectually. Political content hits faster. It runs on lower frequency. What Instagram gurus would call lower vibrations. Scare you. Present a manufactured crisis. Invite debate. And then you notice something shifting. Everything starts to feel tense, threatening, not quite right. The people around you seem anxious, carrying fears they never resolved. Your world contracts into something heavy. Those who don't follow the same content seem shallow to you, uninformed. And those who do, the ones on your wavelength, somehow look stressed out. Then it hits you. That's your own reflection. You're just as tense as they are. That's the moment I recognized it for what it was. I quit nicotine 18 years ago, so I know what dependency feels like. And this had the same signature. The formula that separates dependency from genuine benefit is simple. The reverse formula of every addiction. You think you consume it because you enjoy it, because it makes you feel good. But the truth is, you consume it because without it you feel bad. phone in hand on a walk. Put it down, anxiety. Automatic scroll through social media to check on the world. Don't scroll, boredom. Meanwhile, your actual world shrinks down to work and a small social bubble. Once I identified it as addiction, I did what I did with nicotine 18 years ago. I quit, cold turkey. But then I discovered how much space it actually occupied. Time, attention, energy. And when you just cut it out, you have no idea what to put in its place. Here's what I realized. Social media and YouTube don't just entertain. They replace the need to face your actual life. When you're a founder, especially early stage, everything is uncertainty. Every task feels like the first time. Every simple decision carries weight you didn't expect. So it's much easier to dive into the latest episode from some guru who's been saying the same thing in different words for years. It's mental chewing gum. It doesn't demand peak performance, but it drains your energy constantly. Like a slow leak you never notice until the tire is flat. And this is what your workday actually looks like. We need to align on the management, financial, and accounting strategy across multiple countries. Sure, absolutely. Just let me check Instagram real quick. Actually, let's do it later. I can't right now. I'm watching a really important podcast. What should we do with the referral partner terms? Can you approve? Yes, soon. It'll only take 15 minutes, but you're already deep in procrastination. And obviously you need to check how Usyk just knocked out some guy. Critical information. You can't get the work done. Not because you don't have time, because you don't have energy. And there's another side effect nobody talks about. Consuming hours of background content destroys your ability to concentrate on real life for any extended period. Your entire workflow becomes a constant battle with procrastination. Forcing yourself through tasks one by one, then collapsing in exhaustion once they're done. There's a door standing open, a way out anytime. As the saying goes, I can't deal with this right now. Someone on the internet is wrong, but here's where it gets different for founders. For most people, avoiding hard things has limited consequences. For a founder, there's no one else. What doesn't get done by you simply doesn't get done. So you hit a ceiling, and you can't figure out why everything keeps getting harder. The escape addiction works exactly like every other addiction. Same mechanism, same voice. I know you're weak, and I'm making you weaker. But if you stop, you'll feel even worse. When I got serious about this, I noticed something. Every time I cut it out by sheer willpower, my productivity surged. But the moment my attention slipped, I'd find myself deep in another brilliant creation from another YouTube personality. And here's what practice taught me. Willpower doesn't beat addiction. Awareness does. Because once you identify the core formula, and I'll say it one more time, you're not consuming this because you enjoy it. You're consuming it because you feel bad without it. Once you truly see that, your goal isn't to quit, it's to walk away. You quit things that are good for you. This isn't good for you. So you treat it like a cold. You take the right steps, you tolerate some temporary discomfort, and you move through it. You also understand that the addiction never fully disappears. So you ask yourself, how did it get in? It got in through your real needs, curiosity, the desire to understand the world, the need to connect with interesting people, to observe life around you, to experience nature, to understand how things work, and it offered you a substitute, a synthetic one. Fast pleasure, zero effort, no need to fly anywhere, walk anywhere, talk to anyone. Everything delivered straight to your couch. Maximum dopamine, minimum energy. You can't just cut this out. You have to replace it. You need to know what you're filling the space with, and you need to accept that whatever fills it will cost more energy than scrolling ever did. Find the sources of similar pleasure that are actually available to you. I found 5 that work for me. Physical activity, real social connection, creative output in my professional life, family, and my own personal philosophy about how I want to live. You'll need to find yours. The rule is simple. Figure out what the content was actually giving you and go get that same thing in real life. The price is higher, but your life will have color again. And know this, the addiction never leaves. When the urge hits, don't say, I'll tough it out. Don't say, I can't anymore, I already quit. Say this, oh, I know you. You're back. You want to steal my time again? Thanks. I'll handle things myself. After I got through it, several things happened. All of them pointed in the same direction. An offline business I'd carried for 6 years kept pushing me into procrastination. Every time I thought about the number of moving parts, I wanted to shut it down. But within a few weeks of no social media distraction, I found a way to restructure how it runs, built a team of people who are genuinely invested. The business is still alive, and it appears to be growing without my direct time. Binom AI took on new roles. 80% of routine operations are now handled by synthetic employees, which makes sense. It would be strange to sell a product and not use it yourself. With the energy I recovered from cutting out empty content consumption, I had enough clarity to rebuild our processes. Our growth no longer scales with headcount. Binoms sell themselves, run their own interviews, help clients onboard and integrate. Think raising synthetic specialists is easy? It's almost like raising kids. It takes energy. I entered the global investment market, figured out the landscape and my audience, built the financial, legal, and technical infrastructure to operate in it. I started writing, audio content, books. In a way, it's the direct replacement, passive consumption of noise replaced by active creation of something useful. And most importantly, I got interested in my own life again. Turns out it's more interesting than anything in my feed. That's the story. I hope this was useful to you, and if not, at least it might help you fall asleep. Sincerely yours, Vladimir Winner, CEO, Binom AI Inc.